Welcome back to another episode. Today's topic is dreams. Ooh, dreams. Everyone has a dream. And dreams are very, very special. When we're kids, we get to dream about all sorts of things about what we're going to be and what we're going to do when we grow up. And then there's that reality that sets in where, your dream is not real. It is a figment of your imagination. And man. And then sometimes, you don't have a chance to pursue your dreams. They get crushed. It's like, hey, you're in the real world now. You have to put those dreams aside and you have to do what everyone else is doing. And my message for you today is don't lose your dreams. Dreams are something that are incredibly important for everyone. And man, there's a definition for it, which I got so excited about. I had to kind of start talking about it first. Was that our dreams are our imaginations processing or churning on all the thoughts or ideas or questions that are rolling around in our heads. And the reason that's so powerful is that that's where you get your energy from. When you all of a sudden start connecting the dots and putting things together that weren't normally associated before, it gives you passion. It gives you drive. And so why dreams? Like what's so useful about this mechanism for dreams? Well, your mind is one of the most powerful elements out there. When you consider your arsenal of what you're actually armed with, your imagination and your mind, there's nothing to be beat. The whole idea of reaching your fullest potential, it's a battle between your mind and your emotions. And believe it or not, your emotions are something that hold you back, or it can hold you back. And there's a lot of times where just the pressure of wanting to fit in or do this or do that takes away from hitting your true potential. So the whole idea of dreams is they are something that go beyond what you feel your restrictions are. And it's your way you can freely do that. There's no one that puts a restriction on your dreams other than when you wake up or other than your environment or the folks that are around you. When you dream, you dream. There's no limit to where you'll actually go. And that's exactly how the mind works. So what the mind does is that when we're asleep, it moves at full steam. And the reason it can do that is because a lot of the energy and the resources that you need when you're awake, they're used up. They're being used by something else. So that's the same way a computer works. When there's a lot of, rough or serious tasks that a computer has to work on, it does not have enough cycles that are free to be able to do the things that maybe it would prefer to do or that might, serve another purpose. But when you're asleep, all of those resources take a break because they're resting, they're rejuvenating, and then the mind can go at full steam. And so that's why you have some dreams that are just kind of out of this world where you're not really sure what you're dreaming about. You're not sure what's real or what's not real. And that's the biggest, most important thing about a dream. Your mind cannot tell the difference. It cannot tell the difference between reality and your imagination. That's a pretty powerful thing. It cannot tell the difference. So the importance of that is that if you have a dream, your mind doesn't know the difference. So if it comes to making a dream real, your mind does not have any reservations about making that happen. And that's what's so powerful. If you look all around the world we have today, there's so many things that just came from imagination. And if we stopped tuning out from the power of dreams and started tuning in, this world, man, it would be even a more magnificent place than it is already. But we just need to be open to determining, well, what are our dreams actually telling us? So if you want your dreams to become even more powerful than they are now, you need to make sure you record them and write them down. It may seem like that's something that isn't important, but it's just as important as a dream itself. If you found a way to, let's say, cure cancer or to do something where folks thought it wasn't possible and you had a dream that gave you some of the first steps to actually get there, to not write it down, to not record it would be a travesty, right? And you don't know what dreams are going to tell you. But if you can remember anything from them, that's one of the most powerful things you actually do to write them down. So if there's a tip for the day, the tip is tapping into this dream superpower the first thing to do is ask yourself questions before you go to sleep. Anything that you just don't have a clear path forward with, ask yourself a question. Don't be afraid to write down that question either, because the question is just as important as the answer. So whatever questions you have, write those down, have those kind of clear in your mind before you go to sleep. And then when you wake up, write down and record anything you can remember about your dream, anything. And honestly, what I found is sometimes it works a lot better, a lot faster than writing, is using modern technology and recording it. Record yourself talking about what your dream was actually about, because you can get the words out and the thoughts and anything that you need to process and review that dream later much faster by just talking to it, like if you're kind of sharing it with a friend or family member. So, my story. I always gotta finish it with my story. My story, whew, I had something called a daymare. Now I talked about dreams, but there's also some variants of dreams. Dreams they can come in the form of nightmares, and nightmares would be something that you would rather not dream about, but you kind of have to battle your way through it. And again, your mind can challenge you in the same way reality can challenge you. So sometimes you have to deal with that. But when I talk about daymares, I'm talking about nightmares that are a lot closer to reality than you would care to really want to feel or experience. And those are the things that when you're in reality, you're not really sure if you're dreaming or not. But your body does give you some type of response that, hey, this isn't balanced. There's something wrong here. There's some instinct. And when you're in dreams, that instinct takes over because you have nothing else to rely on, right? So, like daymares, same thing. It's like this could be something you're doing day in and day out. But if you're not really tuned into it, you might kind of overlook it and just kind of feel like, oh man, there's just something wrong here, but I just don't know what it is. So my story is about a daymare, and my daymare was a dream about going back to a job. That was my daymare, and the reason that I would call it a daymare is that I've left that environment years ago, and when I left it, I knew exactly why I left. It wasn't apparent to me at the time, but over time, it became clearer and clearer that that's not the environment that was best suited for me. And I can remember the specifics that kind of made it a rough environment. The first thing was that I was supposedly doing a friend a favor, or they were doing me a favor, by hooking me up with a job. So I was like, okay, all right, let's see if we can do something about the cash flow, see if I can help, within this environment that I'm in. And I can remember reporting on that first day in the dream, and I had the smallest desk imaginable. I was kind of squeezed between two cubicles in some corner, and it made it made Milton from Office Space look like a king with the size of his desk, even though he didn't have any space on it to do anything. My desk was even smaller than that, and I felt like it was going to be stacked up with a lot of papers. So I'm just like, man, I feel like I'm in a cage between these two cubicle walls, right? So to have that feeling, and then to be in an environment again where I had to dress up, but I didn't feel like it was going to be for a happy occasion. I don't mind dressing up and looking nice, but it's one thing to go to like a party. It's another thing to go to a funeral, right? And that's kind of what it felt like. I kind of felt like, man, I got this kind of hole in the wall that looks like a bit of a prison. I got to dress the way that everyone else needs me to be dressed, but I'm not happy. I could tell I wasn't happy, right? And then I got the sense of what it is that really kind of turned me in that whole process. And the big thing was just truth and honesty. When I'm in an office, I feel as though I have to be very reserved, and there are certain things that I can't say. And what I mean by can't say, I'm not talking about just like flipping at my mouth, but the truth. I like to tell people what's on my mind. I like to tell them if they're wrong or if they're right or if I agree or if I disagree. And when you deal with politics in an office, oh man, it's almost like anyone that hears you, you're almost on like office record. I won't call it public record, but I'll call it office record. And depending on who you tell information to, it could make it to everybody, right? So So with that, it's just like, well, what do you say? How do you say it? How do you carry yourself? How do you do this? How do you do that? And you almost have to conform to the way your organization works, or else they don't like you and give you the boot, right? And I don't work that way. I like to be someone who's truthful and honest, and I don't feel I can do that within an office environment. Just for the fact that there's too many elements at play. It's not everyone in a community together and they're fighting for the greater good of something. It's almost as though, you have an organization that, organization's the most important thing. And you are kind of like a cog in the wheel. So again, that's my feeling. That's not everyone's feeling, but that was my environment that I worked to get away from. That was my daymare. So when I was in that, I had such strong emotions of dissatisfaction and regret that when I woke up, I knew exactly what that dream was. I knew exactly what it represented. And I knew that that's not an environment that I ever wanted to return to again. And so it reminded me of why I am doing what I'm doing and the environment that I've created for myself. And the environment that I created myself it's free. I'm happy every day I wake up. I'm happy every day I get to record a video for you. It just makes me recognize how fortunate I am that I am still pursuing my dream. And then my dream right now is to teach 1,000, to nurture 100, and to transform 10. And in doing that, I'm truthful for myself. I'm giving back, everything that I've learned. And if I can help just one person do something just amazing or incredible for themselves, that's a stepping stone for the rest of their life, man, that makes me feel awesome. So I appreciate you tuning in to Dreams. I know you have dreams. I hope you're writing them down. I hope you're asking yourself questions before you go to sleep. And I hope you're recording them and writing them down when you wake up. Because every day you have an opportunity to turn that dream into a reality. And remember, your mind's not going to stop you from doing that. So don't let anyone else tell you you can't. All right. I hope you have a great day and I hope to catch you on the next episode. Bye.